Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back for the third time in this epic Best of 5 Grand Final Series, Sig.Trust versus Fnatic. We are all squared up, 1-1. Who's going to take game number 3, baby? I'm Zayori, joined again by Mott from moonducktv. Mott, what's happening, my man? This series has been action-packed thus far, and I have high expectations here coming into game 3.
Yeah, I mean, we're just a couple of games away from a potential game 5, and honestly, it looked pretty damn good and convincing for Fnatic in that last game, and DJ continues to get his Enchantress. He's had it in every game so far in this particular matchup. And Sig.Trust, they'll go back to the well and they'll pick up Lakel's Spectre. And they've had really great success with that in the first game. And on top of that, they get Jabs' Earth Spirit, who actually almost evened that game up in the last game. And unfortunately, they were too far behind. The Anti-Mage couldn't quite carry the game for them. But I feel like with these two heroes, the Earth Spirit in particular, it's very dangerous for Fnatic to have to deal with that. And so the puck, obviously, was played fantastically by mid one, but I don't know, man. I feel like this particular game could go either way. That's the crazy thing, you know, and people wouldn't think that from, you know, a perspective of Sig.Trust, but they're a good team and they've done a really good job against Fnatic thus far.
Yeah, one of the more interesting dynamics of Sig.Trust is Lakel's as a player. Like, he is by far their standout player, I think. If you look at like the history of time, you know, he is that guy that's been known to create space for himself, grind back those games that feel impossible with those classic Morphling games, his Medusa. And the problem is, he can play a lot of heroes, but they really shine with a particular play style, with the Medusa, the Spectre, those Morphling-type heroes. And you run that risk of, well, can we really second-pick Medusa? Because she is counterable, and same with Spectre. Darkseer, for example, is a pretty good hero against the Spectre, if that's something Fnatic wanted to run here. But Game 2, we really felt that pressure, where they waited till their 5th pick. A lot of Lakel's comfort heroes were banned out. And they were forced in the anti-mage, and that whole game just felt like watching almost a different team. They didn't play poorly, but it was a much different style. And I think locking the Spectre in early on is what Sig.Trust needs to do. Like, they need to stay in their comfort zone, even though there are some counter picks for the carries they like. I think they need to make sure they get a hero that Lakel's is very comfortable on for their general team strategy. And now we'll see a Queen of Pain added to the mix. All right.
I mean, it's clear they wanted to fight early there in that game, but they couldn't because they have an anti-mage. They had two different ideas going on at once. You have a Zeus, you have an Earth Spirit, you have all these early game oriented team fight lineup heroes, and then you have an anti-mage who excels at split pushing, getting a Battle Fury, taking down towers. With the Vlads, it gets even easier. He, of course, can team fight, you know, once you hit that 25 to 30 minute mark, maybe even earlier. But unfortunately, it's just two different ideas, two different thought processes going on. And so now, like you mentioned, they have the Spectre pick, which allows them to do a bit of both. Do a bit of split pushing and farming, and do a bit of fighting as well with the Spectre, and more fighting more so than anything. The Quap is going to come out. It's been months for me since I've seen this Queen of Pain versus Puck matchup, which is probably one of the most classic matchups in all of Dota 2 when you think about it. So it's kind of cool to see this matchup happening, but that's just a microcosm of the game, as there's going to be rotations from the Enchantress, from the Earth Spirit. So it's going to be more than just these two heroes going toe-to-toe.
Yeah, no, absolutely. No doubt about that. And I am excited to see Queen of Pain. I think she's still a really strong hero in that role, and you don't see teams pick her nearly as much as we used to, especially in this region. But she is that pick that still comes out every so often. And, you know, something like an Aghanim Scepter is just so good for teams that like to skirmish and fight a lot, and I think she really fits the bill for the kind of style that these teams play. But we'll see Fnatic go back to their roots. Game 1, they tried the Bat Rider. They opened the draft with it. This time they'll grab him here with their 4th pick. But a comfort hero for Ohio, and Oracle right away from Sig.Trust. One of the best heroes to deal with Bat Rider. You talk about Legion Commander with Press the Attack, or Abaddon with his Aphotic Shield, but Oracle's got one as well, and it's called False Promise. It's pretty damn good.
Yeah, this is, I mean, it's even better than Swap in some instances, not only because, just because Swap is good for positioning, and it can do a lot of work for you to make sure you pick off a hero or keep a hero alive, but False Promise is better in that regard, in the sense that you pop that up and you start healing people like crazy, and on top of that, it's just great at just removing any sort of debuff, not just necessarily lasso, but False Promise is so good at keeping heroes alive, and it allows the Spectre to fight with a bit more reckless abandon, hoping that the Oracle is there to back him up and keep him alive. And so the Oracle pick is great, and I don't know if Fnatic were expecting it. They could have banned it out, but they definitely wanted to take out the Darkseer and the Zeus more importantly than anything else. But this is going to be tough. I mean, obviously the Oracle's not going to hit level 6 when the Bat Rider does, and the Bat Rider might even have his blink before the Oracle gets his False Promise. If that's the case, he'll get a couple of free lassos and a couple of free kills off, but it comes down to positioning. Where's the Oracle playing? Is he behind the carry? Is he going to be sitting behind the Spectre the entire time? You know, what's he going to be doing? It comes down to that. And
Yeah.
it's going to be interesting.
I also like Oracle in this setup with Queen of Pain and Earth Spirit. I think Purifying Flames can be a good way to soften somebody up and make them susceptible to the burst damage of Queen of Pain, or if they're already a little bit weak, bring them down into Threshold where Earth Spirit can magnetize and maybe finish them off. But, whoa, wild pick here from Fnatic. The Lycan, not a hero that we see come out too frequently, but obviously a lot of pushing power in the old Wolfie.
This is an interesting pick for sure. It's not super surprising to me, but it allows them to get away with that push and have a bit of extra team fight going their way with the shapeshift coming out. The Howl will help in the laning phase as well. Synergistically, it comes down to what they wanted to accomplish last game, which is pushing very quickly, and they'll have the ability to do so. They'll pick up the Vlads, maybe even go for a Necro 3 on the Lycan, which seems to be the correct choice.
Yeah.
And it's kind of tough to deal with because, you have a Spectre. You can't really lock down the Lycan. You kind of have to hope you get an Abyssal Blade later on. They have only a couple of ways of dealing with this here. There's not much disable. There's a stun coming out from the Boulder Smash. Fortune's then sets your movement speed to 0, so that kind of helps. And that's about it, though. They have no real disables other than that. So this Lycan can kind of run free, and Sig.Trust have to think about getting a disable here.
You're 100% right about that, man. That's maybe part of the reason why they picked Lycan. Less for the pushing and more just because there's nothing to control him. I mean, Quap's got the slow. When he's in ult form, that's not going to matter too much. Same with the Spectral Dagger. There's a lot of pressure on this Earth Spirit to connect with a couple of those rocks, I think.
I think Roar could be good if the Beastmaster is available. They could pick that, and this time I would be a fan of the Beastmaster. You could also go Nature's Prophet, but there's a very good chance that Lycan has a Kwang Blade. He's just going to chew through a tree.
No, I really like the Beastmaster here. Also, again, the Hawk Vision, great to have against a Puck and Bat Rider, 2 Blink Dagger carries that like to initiate, so can give you that intel and keep you a little bit safer from those ganks than you normally would be.
It comes down to, you want the global presence with the Spectre and the Nature's Prophet, or do you want to be able to actually disable the Lycan long enough to kill him?
Global, Beastmaster's not the worst hero for that either. He can always go for that BOT build in the mid game and jump to the Hawk and fight globally that way alongside the Spectre. Not quite the same global presence as the Prophet, but if you want the best of both worlds, I think Beastmaster fills that as well. But whoa,
okay,
they go for the axe.
That's not a hero that I would ever think is going to be picked again after how much he's been nerfed, and that's really interesting.
I'm really surprised by that. I would not have predicted that one in 1,000 years. It is pretty good against all of the summons that they're going to have out. Lycan with his Wolves, Necro Book, the Enchantress creeps. There's just a lot of shit that's going to be on the field that the red man can hop in and benefit from to get those spins. But that seems like a sort of a minor reason to pick Axe. He has so many other issues, especially in the laning stage. Like we talked about Bat Rider being a boomer bust hero. I feel like Axe is that to an even more polarizing degree. He either gets momentum, gets an early Blink Dagger and takes over, or he is borderline useless because if he can't survive, then what does he do?
I think this is a situation where you kind of have to do a dual lane with Axe and Earth Spirit and just kind of keep the Earth Spirit up there for at least a little while and help him out, because Axe as a solo hero against a Lycan, Enchantress, Vengeful Spirit is not going to be successful.
He'll just get zoned out completely.
In any stretch, I don't think he'll be able to get much. And I'll be surprised if I'm wrong. This hero is not picked for a reason. He was nerfed a lot. Even with all the bonus armor that he gets from Berserker's Call, if he calls a lot of these heroes and a lot of these units, he's still going to take a lot of damage. The good thing is that the Oracle actually works really well with the Axe with False Promise and being able to Purifying Flames him as well. I don't know, man. I just think that you're absolutely right. You talk about the Bat Rider being boomer bust. I think Axe is... It's not a hero we've seen a lot of, and I actually want to look and go to Dota and see what teams have picked Axe in 6.86, and I'm actually going to look for it.
Yeah,
this
go
is
for
interesting
it.
to me.
I'm pretty curious. You do bring up a good point about the Oracle, though. There's a lot of cool synergy with just False Promise buying him that amount of time to really man up, sort of like a Shallow Grave from the Dazzle. I think there's potential there for Axe to just go super man mode in the mid game and benefit from the Oracle, but easier said than done as well. On paper, that sounds good. If it actually works out in practice, I'll be a little bit surprised.
Hold on a second here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. He actually has like a 70% win rate with the times that he's been picked. He's actually, I think he's 6-11 games. He's won 6 times in 11 games, maybe 7, I think, here in this patch. But he's only been picked 11 times. So I don't know, and usually he's been picked and played in a very weird way in a lot of the time. So
look at this here, Maud. This is interesting. So Radiant Wards, they'll get a little bit of coverage down in that bottom river, but there are other observers up here blocking out this camp in the secret shop. So they're kind of capitalizing on Ohio, not getting too much out of the lane, relying on this camp to get stacked up. We'll see if this actually ends up crippling him. They'll have a jungler at least to start with DJ, so there's potential for this Batrider to get pretty starved out here early on.
Yeah, this is a good play, and this is why you can keep the Batrider down bottom for a majority of the game, is because you have that camp to work with. And if they can take that camp, or if they see that camp is getting stacked up, and I don't think it blocks this camp, I don't believe. If they can see that camp is getting stacked up, they can actually go ahead and contest it and take it pretty quickly with either the Quap or the Axe, who will get help, by the way. The Earth Spirit is going to come top. However, they are going to spot this out. There's an Observer Ward. It'll see Jabs rotating up to the top lane, so Abba might actually get some good farm here, but he is going to get Wave of Terror. The Howl will go, and now actually 3-4-3. They missed the Rolling Boulder, and now it's trouble for Abba. He'll still go to work on 3-4-3, but with the Rolling Boulder missing, that's not going to be First Blood, whereas it could have been.
Yep, Axe only level 1, relying on people to right-click him to get that counter helix damage. So they can play a little bit safe. At least they're putting some pressure on. Axe should be able to get level 2 fairly easily here. Boombell just hanging out down bottom, harassing Ohio, who is having a pretty good presence in the lane so far. Still has quite a few tangos to chew through, but I think this is just going to get more and more difficult as things progress.
Oh my lord, he's almost dead. He's going to have to Fairy Fire, think about blinking away. He's taking way too much damage. He's a salve, luckily, so he can use that, but he's getting dominated by mid one in this mid matchup, and he don't lose that. Okay, good. That salve needed to not go down. Still
yeah, I need to pay closer attention to this mid lane, man. This should be a lot more even than this.
Oh, he's going for it. He's got
Pro actually going to get the first blood. He does. Mott, that's like the weirdest exchange in mid lane I think I've ever seen. Puck diving past the tier 1, Quap barely lives, and then just kind of right-clicks him down. That was awkward.
Mid one used the illusory if he really wanted to cancel that salve on MyPro. MyPro avoided it, and then got a couple of extra ticks from it, and then was able to get a Scream off, blink up, and get another Scream. And he's just like, well, I don't have... He had already used Phase Shift. He didn't have Illusory Orb, and so MyPro finds himself now a full bottle coming out. That is a huge pickup because he was not doing well in this lane for the longest time.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm going to actually pull up the instant replay here and just take a gander. MyPro, 62 HP, more than 1 hit to live there, so actually not quite as close as it looked, given the positioning. We'll see a little exchange in the jungle here in the real game, but looks like it'll be all right. Yeah, and then you're absolutely right. You called it. Mid one got a little too greedy trying to knock off the salve, and it ends up costing him his life. Good play from the Quap. Works out for MyPro.
That's just a smart play for MyPro. You don't expect that from mid one, and they're still going toe-to-toe, duking it out, both below 25% HP, and very dangerous. Jabs is nearby. He could actually go for a Rolling Boulder and might be successful. Bottles coming back out for both for both sides. They're crowing, I think, for the most part. Axe, by the way, has 8 last hits to the 5 of the Batrider, and the Batrider is getting roamed down right now, and he doesn't have vision of this. Fortune's Edge should probably go, and it will, and this will be a Rolling Boulder on top of that.
Yeah, it should be a nice easy one here for Jabs and Ohio.
Did he miss that? He missed the Rolling Boulder. That was strange. I thought it was right on point, but he missed it.
Maybe it was one of those, it just fell short, so it looks like that last lingering bit of the animation hit him. Looked like a hit to me as well, but Axe is doing okay. He's almost level 4, so he's at least getting some experience out of this lane. 9 last hits, actually not too shabby. DJ will move into this hard camp here, now has Tomato to go with that Dark Troll Summoner and an Alpha Wolf. Interesting medley of creeps there. DJ has been relatively quiet this game, though. They still haven't picked up a kill on the team, and level 4, he's just happy to get his farm for now. Axe, one of the more difficult heroes to gank.
Well, they're going to go for it now. They pop up the Howl, the Magic Missile will go. The Thunderclap will slow him down. He'll pop the Berserker's Call and end up falling, it looks like, in this last right click. Good Fairy Fire, but he's still dead nonetheless.
I like the play from DJ there to wrap the creeps around the backside.
Yeah, that was cool. That was
not expecting that.
Yeah. Good kill.
Path block him there. And yeah, just as I say that, it's like the inverse caster's curse. DJ comes out of the jungle and finds a kill on the offlaner.
He's farmed very well. He's got 19 last hits, too. And so he gets himself an assist, and he gets himself 19 last hits. He picks up his phase, which is now going to make things even easier. And this is kind of what I expected to see from the Axe. I'm just surprised it took so long, but now the push will commence. And we'll see. I think this will probably be a tower. Look how fast this thing falls. Holy crap.
Yeah, man. Lycan, 2 points in the Wolves, has that value point in Howl, and they're just going to chunk through this thing. They've got the Alpha Wolf here, so they get extra 30% damage.
They're going to try to fight this on Sig's side, but there's a ward there again, like I talked about. So this is...
I mean, they'll make the hold for now, but that's just one push if they come in and they get the tower close to death. Now it will enter deny range, and they don't even need to commit that hard for it. It does get killed, no deny. Now the fight breaks out. Abba going in deep. They go hard on DJ. He'll fall first. They get My Pro as well. It's a 1-for-1. Still a pretty even exchange. Abba staying aggressive. He eats the Fairy Fire, but he's getting low. There's just too many units. He's going to have to try to run away here, and he will make it out. Healing Salve will bring him back up. And that's where it will end. Queen of Pain for Enchantress is the trade, though, of course, the tower does go down in favor of Fnatic.
They might get this kill on net. He doesn't have Shapeshift.
No
Good
stun on the
boulder
bench
smash.
either.
That's beautiful. This should be a kill.
Yep.
Good Fairy Fire, and 343 might fall as well. Rolling boulder. It just barely connects, and that's huge. Abba with that self. He does end up falling. He goes down to the Venge, but still, that's a lot of gold going for not only the axe, but jabs as well. That's a great pickup there.
Yeah, again, what a weird fight that was. Both sides doing so much damage, but it was so spread out that nobody was able to easily secure many kills outside of those first few that were exchanged. And we are starting to see some of the power of the axe here, though, Maud. He did buy a whole bunch of stuff before he died, gets his Tranquils and Magic Wand up, and he is level 5, and this early fighting is pretty good for him. I think all things equal, he would rather trade that way and pick up a couple kills and get closer to level 6 than just be zoned out and be forced to retreat into the jungle.
No, that was a really good job. Ohio's going to rotate in. They actually are going to find Boombell or look for him. The sticky napalm coming in, getting vision. They have it now. They don't have lasso, but they're going to have an enchant ready to go. And I think Boombell, no, maybe not going to be in trouble. Ohio's gone too deep. Fortune's End's going to go. They're going to get the Berserker's Call here off, or he should. But he's in the tree line. It's going to be the jump in, Scream of Pain. They have the Sonic Wave. They might have to commit it. There's the Fairy Fire coming out. Instead, they'll just look to right-click him down. And they rotate all 5 heroes for that kill, by the way. But, I mean, I guess it's worth it in the end.
Yeah, they really wanted to keep their Spectre alive. It's a turnaround, but Big Wolfie's up top, and he's going to start putting a little pressure into this Tier 2 tower. It looks like Oracle will TP in, but he does have Vlad's on the way here. Basilius and Morbid Mask already, so Net can sustain in the lane, and now with the Bassi, he can help push. But man, look at this aggressive warding. They started off with a nice aggressive ward on this plateau, and now they get one behind the Tier 2. Not a very common spot that you would think to de-ward at 7 minutes into the match.
Yeah, that's not so, and they didn't see it either. And now Boombell does not know how close to death he actually is. He's about to die.
Poor Oracle. Only level 5 as well. Really no chance to get out of there without False Promise. And now they transition this into a tower push. And again, probably hard for Sig to deal with this aggressive pushing of Fnatic in these early stages.
And maybe Oracle realizes that they might have vision because of that kill. I'm not sure if that's actually the case. Does he have sentries? Oracle doesn't have anything. Dear God, I think it's all in the courier.
Dude, he's got 800 net worth right now. Half of the Vengeful Spirit, who's number 9 on the net worth chart. It's a tough life for him right now.
Oracle has not gotten anything. They didn't get kills bottom on the Bat Rider, which is unfortunate. Except for that one kill, but that was with 5 heroes in the vicinity. So it's not like he's really been involved in a lot of action. Not great.
Yet they've sort of kept the Bat Rider at bay, but Ohio's gotten more than enough out of this lane. He's halfway through level 6 at the 7.5-minute mark. Mid lane, though, mid 1 gets jumped on. It's a 3-on-1. Silence on 3, but it just doesn't matter. Axe is there with the Berserker's Call. Sets up the dunk. And the Fairy Dragon will get decapitated. Nice rotation from the Axe. That'll get him close to level 7. And 950 gold in the bank. Making progress towards that blink.
And Japs has picked up the urn so that the Spectre doesn't quite need to get it yet. He can still go for it, but it looks like the drum will be first for Lakel's so that he's got that extra bit of everything. And now the push will commence bottom with the Enchantress. The Hellbear Smasher's getting pretty low, but there's also a push coming out top from MyPro, but pushing really from Sig.Trust isn't there. Like, again, it's another team that doesn't have any real pushing heroes. That's the biggest issue that you're going to have to deal with.
I think they are much better equipped to deal with the pushing of Fnatic this time around, especially as we get closer to the mid-game. Ohio, he's in a lot of trouble. Fortune's End connects, and it lives up to his name. That'll be the end of the Bat Rider, and the second time he takes that first-class ticket back to the well.
So, yeah, I mean, he's died a couple of times just by, virtue of being too aggressive.
Yeah.
He hasn't taken any stacks in the jungle or anything, and Net is the one that's been in there for the majority of this game, besides, of course, the Enchantress.
Yeah,
and
it started with DJ, but now he's just been roaming, and they're giving all this farm to the Lycan. Net has the Vlads. He's level 8. It's kind of interesting from the perspective of Fnatic, though. I mean, they need to hit some pushing timings, because I don't think they can handle this Spectre in, like, late game. They can scale okay, but once we get 45 minutes plus, if Sig.Trust are still holding on, Queen of Pain, Spectre, they scale really well into the late game, and that gets pretty scary. So they need to, get those core items up, maybe work on that Necro book, but I think in the mid game, they really need to erupt with some aggression.
I mean, Nat is going to try to split push top as much as possible, and nobody really wants to go up there. MyPro will come up now and try to get some farm, and he's actually doing... he could be doing better in terms of net worth, but both him and the Puck are only like 200 net worth, difference at this point. So it's kind of actually still very close.
I mean, we saw how they played that mid lane. It wasn't really about farming as much as it was about killing. Both of them spent so much effort just unleashing damage into each other that they weren't really focused on CS. Puck at 49 and Quap at a humble 30 here at 10 minutes.
There's a smoke of the sea coming out. DJ and 343 are going to meet up with mid one, and then he'll head to the top rune spot. And Jabs is probably dead. He really wanted that rune. He also really wanted to fight, and they're going to try to find it. But it's a 3 versus 2 now. They get off what seems to be a pretty good magnetize as well, but can Lakel's do enough damage? Sonic Wave comes through. They take down the Puck. DJ is in trouble as well. The Calling Blade doesn't do the damage. It wasn't at the kill threshold. He misses the call as well, and Abba just misses all of his abilities. Here comes the shapeshift, and now Net's going to go to work, and you have to leave if you are Sig.Trust after this kill. They get a 2 for 2 trade. Good false promise, but they need a 4-10 to stop Net from moving. Let's look for a moment.
They should be able to get away here. Net needs to be somewhat careful. That shapeshift not going to be all alive too much longer. Runs into the tower and does make it back out, but hey, Jabs is back. There's the roll forward, the stun, the damage, and Net's going to fall. Another awkward team fight here from both sides as it was sort of this spread bit of damage, but Sig.Trust do find the advantage in the end, and they get about a 1K net worth gain out of that, as they are a little bit behind, I think, on the graph. Yeah, they certainly are. Ahead in kills, but still trailing by about 1,500 net worth overall.
Abba, even with missing his abilities, is still able to find a couple of kills, and it's lucky that Net dove, Net dove so far, because that shouldn't have really been that good for Sig.Trust, but he realized the shapeshift was running out. He tried running away, and then he's like, oh, God, I'm dead. There's a rolling boulder and a boulder smash. There's nothing I can do about it.
Yeah, I mean, if there's a low-health hero there that he can finish off, it's probably worth it to take that risk to dive the tower. But there, it's like, who's the potential kill here? Axe is the one you're beaten on, like above 50% HP. But, yeah, I guess you're right. Boombell was nearby, but he still was reasonably healthy.
Well, they hit him with an impetus or two, and then he was like at half HP. And so he had to make a decision. He was like, do I need to go and dive for this kill, or do I just back up? And that was like, well, I want to get something done with this.
Yeah, fair point. Another aggressive smoke, though, from Fnatic, man. It's unrelenting aggression here. They know Lakel's doesn't have the ult, but Jabs interrupts it. Oh!
That's insane. That just won them the team fight, and DJ now is going to get caught. They've already used the Berserker's call. Boombell finds himself a double kill with Purifying Flames.
Dude, what a player, man. That's
How do you
incredible.
get that off? How do you actually get that ability off? The Haunt's going to go through there, going to continue to chase Ohio Spectral Dagger it up, and he's going to try to deny himself, and he will not be so lucky as the Kells will find himself another kill. The only good thing happening while this is going on is the push top. And now they're looking for mid one mid, and they almost find a call.
They might grab him. He used his illusory orb. He gets off the Dream Coil, but it's only on one. Now the TP home. Do they have the damage? They certainly do. They interrupt the TP to boot. 4 heroes on the side of Fnatic fall as they spread around the map. Lycan does some chip damage to the tower, gets it down to about half health, does TP out and survives. But man, what about a momentum here from Sig.Trust?
Pretty sure you need to ban the Earth Spirit if you're Fnatic from now on. I don't think you can let Jabs have this hero.
That was
essentially
incredible.
A Ravage is what that was. It was a 3-man stun right around the corner where he didn't have vision. He barely saw that smoke break, and he was able to get it off in time, whereas he should have been the one that was disabled and brought down. So that is impressive, to say the very least.
Well, look at the replay here. The setup for this fight, it seemed like it was so good for Fnatic. Spectre didn't have an ult, didn't have an easy getaway here, and I think that's part of the timing that Fnatic were trying to hit, but you just see him walk right in, he stuns, and it's like, oh wait, there's 3 heroes here, magnetize on 3, and then after that, it's just an easy setup. Abba joins the party, he's got the disables, MyPro comes in, and Fnatic just fall apart. Spectre now #1 on net worth by a nice little bump over the Lycan.
Yeah, he's got 2,000 gold. It looks like he's not really going to focus on getting that urn. So if he can get a little bit more room, he'll definitely buy that relic. We'll see if that's going to be the case. Yeah. The Bat Rider still does not have his lasso, by the way, or Blink Dagger, excuse me, by the way.
It's interesting he didn't finish the poor man's shield. He just needs one more Slippers of Agility, opened up that slot, and give you some extra. It's a minor thing, but still surprising he didn't just spend that extra 150 gold to finish it.
I need all the gold I can get to give my relic or whatever, I'm sure is what he's thinking.
Well, one more team fight, and he's basically going to be there.
They have Haunt. It's up in 5, so they can go for an engagement. They're probably going to Haunt on net here. Let's see.
See if they need it. Yeah, there it is. And plenty of damage now. Sets up for the axe. This time he gets the threshold and big kill. Now the rest of Fnatic are on their way in, though. Ohio with the lasso onto Jabs. Trying to pull him into no man's land, but it's not really that effective. The magnetize comes out. It almost makes it easier for him. Now Abba comes in. Oh my good gracious! It's a 5-0 Fnatic, just a puddle of blood on the floor as Sig.Trust style all over their corpses. My God, Mott, that was
How do they hit
deadly.
these abilities? Three-man. First it was the three-man boulder smash, then it's a four-man berserker's call, and then he just gets so much physical damage coming out from that freaking counter helix. That was insane. That was nuts. That is huge, and you mentioned it. Lakellis needs one more team fight. He's up to 3.3K. I've seen this movie before. In fact, it was back in game number 1, and that is going to provide them almost a 3,000 net worth advantage. They were behind before. This game is suddenly, it's coming up Millhouse for Sig.Trust
Jabs
right now.
was not the hero to grab the lasso there. Literally groups around the Earth Spirit. He gets the perfect magnetize, and it's almost like watching that. You see the moment where Fnatic goes, oh shit, I think we might have messed up. And then all of a sudden, Abba shows up, Berserkers call on their entire team, and it's like, yeah, I think we screwed up, guys. Just hands off the keyboard, wipe it off, let's go into this next fight. And I like this play from Fnatic. They move into the Roche pit because they know Haunt is down, another 30 seconds till it comes up. A risky play here, but I like the thought process to try to do something aggressive right after losing a fight.
Might not work out.
It may backfire, though. That said,
they have
smoke
call.
coming
Luckily,
in.
they're not really together, but Alba's about to blink in and call. He's only going to get one, but he's going to get lassoed. Nicely done. They're going to turn this into a pretty good fight. Three-man Dream Coil coming up, and a good boulder smash and silence coming through. Net wants to chew down Boom Bell first, but the swap comes out. Sonic Wave on to 4, on to 5, but is it enough? The magnetize coming out. DJ's going to fall first, but it's still a 2-for-1 exchange. Up to the high ground. They left Abba up there. He can't do anything. The Firefly will take him down, but it's too late. 3-for-1. Now the Haunt will come through. Can they clean this up? It looks like Ohio will fall first. He'll turn his attention to 3-4-3. On the other side, MyPro's got a blink. He misses the scream. He needs to leave. The ensnare's not there. Midwood looking for the illusory rope. He's going to find the jaunt through. He's going to haste rune. MyPro has no mana for a scream. Wave of Terror will bring him down. And Lakellis continues the hunt. Instead, he's going to get ensnared up, and it might be a 5-for-2 engagement. Lakellis is in trouble. The urn is up. The right clicks are there. He'll stick and try to get out. He popped the drum charge. And he might just tick down to the urn. The Purifying Flames Fate's Edict will keep him alive.
Ooh, a little bit of a close call there, but he makes it out. All right, well, Fnatic's Roche gets delayed. Sig.Trust may still try to contest this. Fnatic were ready and waiting for that, though. Beautiful positioning from Ohio to grab the axe as soon as he came in and isolate him onto the high ground. Roche falling very quickly here. It will go down to Fnatic, liking the one to grab the Aegis. It'll cost him 3-4-3, it looks like. He goes down, but now this could be Fnatic's fight to take. Sig.Trust are on the back foot. Lakel's on the run. The negative urn just ticking him down.
There's the axe.
Axe is here, baby. He goes in, jumps onto DJ. Only gets the Berserkers calling one, but a great silence. That'll lock down part of Fnatic and open up some space for Abba to get away. It looked like he would be fine from the Force Staff, but Lasso pulls him right back in. Another Berserker's call. Some more time is bought. Eventually, he falls. Sig.Trust running low on resources. They don't have their Spectre. He's back at the well, and the rest of their team will start to get cleaned up. Now MyPro trying to make it out. Will blink away, but it's not over yet. Net on the run, and okay, it's over now. He's going to live.
That's just Sig.Trust.
Wow.
I mean, they try to contest it twice, and they lose both fights, and now the net worth graph is back down to even after winning a 5-for-0 engagement earlier. 5-for-1,
topsy-turvy game.
Yeah, this is nuts. It's all over the place. And the good thing for Sig.Trust is even though they lose that engagement, they do get the relic up for Lakellis. He doesn't end up dying, so he's pretty close to his Radiance. Net is going to start building into his Necro 1 now, and he's going to become a force to be reckoned with. If he can get off his Necro, he'll be able to bring down pretty much whoever, with the exception of a False Promise going out. But this is looking okay for Fnatic. It's certainly doable. They'll have to deal with Lakel's late game, which obviously in the first game we saw that was not great, but we'll see if they can somehow bring him down now.
Yeah, now Jabs has also picked up the Veil of Discord, so that will buff up his damage a lot and also help with the Queen of Pain, especially that Scream. Extra damage is always always helpful, I suppose. Quab now has the Yule's Scepter. Interesting to see MyPro go for that first item. It's almost always either Aghanims or Yule's, or pardon me, or Orchid right away. But this game feeling like he needs some way to reset to either keep himself alive. It's a good tool for the Lycan. He pops his ult, he's running at you, you can still put him up in the Cyclone and give you an opportunity to at least get a little buffer there as he's chasing you down.
It just comes down to silences too, I think, as well, or even disables. If he finds himself swapped back or silenced up, he's going to use himself and try to, like you said, reset himself and make sure that he can get back in a good position. He'll be up front. They'll be sitting behind him, not smoked up, but close by, and Locals will continue to farm elsewhere with his Radiance down up. This Radiance is going to provide so much. You'd be surprised how much it'll actually do. But Ohio now is looking, he's on the hunt. Locals might be in trouble. Spectral Dagger, he needs to leave. Don't get that last hit. Just get out of there. Man, very good game sense. I think he knows something is up here. Maybe he saw mid.
Yeah, Radiant lacking on vision in their own jungle right now. You look at the Dire wards, though. They've got a lane ward in mid, then they've got this guy right outside of the Roche pit. They are ready to hunt and just lingering nearby. Sentry wards down as well to make sure that Sig.Trust don't have any vision in the area as they steal farm from this Spectre. It's always scary, though, when you see a Spectre who's #1 on net worth at the moment he picks up the Radiance, as Locals is right now. That's usually a sign that you're in a pretty good spot overall. The fun is really just beginning, so to speak.
Yeah. It's also kind of scary for Sig.Trust because if they lose that hero, he goes down even with that Radiance, and he doesn't get a kill out of it or anything. He just gives up a lot of net worth to the other side. So it goes both ways. But yeah, I mean, the fact that he's first now is only going to make it a lot harder for Fnatic as this game progresses. They're going to keep getting him farm. He'll get up to probably a Yasha next, I would imagine, and he'll go from there.
Yeah.
By the way, only one tier 1 tower has been taken down by Sig.Trust. That was the tier 1 mid, and there's still a tier 1 top and bottom to be taken. Whereas the push, which we thought was going to be a lot faster for Fnatic, has really been stifled as of recently. They stopped taking towers like 10 minutes ago.
Yeah, exactly. They knocked down the tier 1s. Lycan tried to split push top, and he died once, and pretty much since then, it's like, well, all right, let's try to team fight instead. Abba goes in on the mid one. They haunt and just completely destroy the puck. Sonic Wave doing the bulk of the damage there. They're looking for more, but it looks like it'll just be a quick pick. Meanwhile, in the top lane, Net is still trying to split push. Speak of the devil. Ohio, Invisibility Rune, maybe looking for an opening here. Grabs Boom Bell, pulls him back into DJ land, and yeah, they're going to get a freebie on the Oracle. So it is a 1-for-1, but now back to the top lane. Net silenced, isolated, and should be now a freebie on the Lycan.
He's got an Aegis. He's going to wait for the Aegis to go for a shapeshift, but they have a blink call. Yeah, there it is.
There it is. It's going to force the Wolf to linger around a bit longer. Do they have the damage before he can run away? More than enough. Decapitation as the Axe gets another.
This Axe, I haven't talked about this, but we were really concerned about this choice, this pick, and Abba has played it.
Yeah.
With the exception of that fight around Roche, those 2 fights around Roche, he's played this Axe pretty much in a stellar way. Like his play has been on point. He's got the great calls. He's done more than enough damage. His team has been helping him. They've been playing together as a squad. And I was very surprised to see this hero. I thought this hero was going to be done for a while, but
yeah, I like the build he's going for, too. There's a lot of different ways you can take Axe. Sometimes rushing Vanguard can be really good if you get it at like 6 or 7 minutes. Obviously, rushing Blink is one of the classics, but here he's just going max mobility, Blink's Force Staff. So not really playing that. I'm going to blink in and absorb all this damage and use a Blade Mail. More the, I want to be mobile. I want to be in the right place at the right time to use my Berserker's Call and set up these kills. And that's exactly what they've been doing time and time again. Goes in on the DJ, and they'll be able to set up the dunk once more.
Exactly. Abba being a bit cheeky, canceling his Culling Blade a couple of times to make it cool. Take it to tier 1 tower. Finally, some more gold going the way of Sig.Trust based off of the buildings, but this is going to mean that this is going to open up a split push from both Ohio as well as the rest of Fnatic squad mid. So they'll keep going top lane and look for a tier 2, but they'll TP a couple of back in the process.
Yo, with that kill on the Lycan, this Spectre is pretty decently ahead now. About 2.5k net worth is their gap. That's pretty sizable. He now has a Yasha up. Manta Style coming on the way, I think.
Yeah, this is looking good. Yasha's done, like you talked about. Manta will come next, like you said.
For Puck, I mean, he's got another staff. You think this is Dagon again?
It could be. It also probably is more than likely, I think, a Yule's because of the silence is coming out from the Earth Spirit.
Yeah,
which have been destroying them.
And you can also, what's the interaction with Axe and Yule's Scepter? Like, if somebody gets caught by the Berserker's Call, and then, I guess Puck could use it to put it on Axe, and then...
Yeah, you can put it on Axe, and he won't spin, I don't think, and it won't do any damage, obviously.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
it'll keep them in... I'm pretty sure,
nice.
actually, they changed it so the Yule's... Once you Yule's him, or you get him out of the way, they actually, like, the Berserker's Call doesn't go anymore. Pretty
yeah,
sure
it used to be, if one Axe has a teammate with a Yule's, you put it on the Puck, he can use the Berserker's Call at any point in the Yule's, and as soon as you come down, you auto-attack him. So there's no way that you can do it. And I think you're right. You have to time it now so that they have to be not invulnerable. And then, so there's a window where people can blink out or phase shift or do something else that didn't used to be there. if I'm remembering the mechanics.
It's because it's been a while. I mean, we haven't seen a lot of Axe, so the interactions are a bit strange to me.
Yeah.
We'll see how it goes, because there's gonna be Yules or two.
The point is, I think Yules is a very effective item against Axe, just to counter-initiate in general. You know,
well, they're buying 2 of them, by the way. The Batrider's getting 1, as well as the Puck. I think the Puck is getting 1. I could be wrong, though. It could be a Dagon, but I don't think that's the case.
It doesn't strike me as a particularly good Dagon game. I mean, who's he going to pick off with it? You know, maybe if you catch the Earth Spirit, but he's not really that squishy. 1400 HP. Uh-oh. Top lane, my pro. He's going to get caught by the lasso, and that'll be an easy pick off, but they're still going to fight it. Haunt from the Spectre. In comes Jabs. He's got the Magnetize, and will deploy it. This could be a good fight here for Sig.Trust. They're starting to turn it. They've gotten 2, and soon to be more. Net in the front lines doing as much damage as he can, but Jabs gets the ult from the Oracle. It keeps him alive, and they obliterate the Lycan. Now DJ gets left behind, caught by the Berserker's Call. The right clicks aren't going to do a hell of a lot against the Untouchable. Mid one comes back in to reinitiate, and they might be able to grab a few stragglers here. Impetus from DJ still doing huge damage. He's now out of mana, but they get the axe as well. In the end, it's a 3 for 4. Somehow, some way, Fnatic take that fight.
They realized the Spectre was dead, and they didn't have the Earth Spirit anymore, and they quickly thought, okay, well, actually, we don't do any damage now because of Untouchable, and Axe didn't get any culling.
I guess somehow, some way is that Quap did literally nothing in that fight.
Yeah, I mean, that helps too. You get a 4v5 engagement, and you're... Even with... It is a Dagon, by the way. That's kind of crazy. Even with that engagement, you know, Fnatic jumping in, they still almost lose that fight. More importantly, the Lycan dies and doesn't get really many kills out of that, and the Spectre stays alive long enough to get a little bit going her way, so she's still up there net worth.
Right.
I don't know, though. I mean, I feel like the Puck and the Enchantress did a lot that fight, and that actually is going to be almost an Aghanim Scepter for DJ suddenly out of nowhere.
Yeah. They are really relying on the burst damage from the Queen of Pain to deal with DJ. She's the only one that can very easily do damage to get DJ in kill threshold for the axe. Everyone else is too reliant on right clicks, and now that he's very close to the Aghanims, like 2 creep kills away, he's going to be doing huge damage in these fights. And simply put, they just can't afford to let this Enchantress survive that long in the engagements, because you see how much damage she does, and without a Quap to blow her up, it's pretty disgusting. She can chunk down the Spectre pretty effectively too.
Yeah. It's tough. There is Purifying Flames from Boombell, and he could spam that too, but yeah, they definitely need some more magical bursts, and that's where Dagon on their side would have come in handy, but they're trying to get the Ags for the Queen of Pain, which is probably a better decision.
Yeah,
so,
I like the Ags on Quap this game. I think just in general, the way these teams fight, it's 28-18 at 26 minutes. Ags is just, it sells itself with that short cooldown.
Honestly, I have no idea how DJ is so farmed. He's more farmed than the Quap and the Puck. But Lakel's is about to get lassoed, and he needs some help, and there's unfortunately not much of a global presence, so he'll probably end up falling. He's Spectral already, I think. No, he hasn't used it. The Dream Coil's used it. That's a great pickup. Dead for 64. The rest of his team was smoking up. He can buy that content if they find a good fight, but that's unless they find a 5v5 engagement. I don't think they're going to commit to that, though. They're going to head top, but guess what? They already TP'd out. As Mid one TP'd home, and the rest of them TP'd bottom. So, really good pick, and Sig.Trust will lose their Spectre because of it.
Yeah, great positioning from Fnatic as well to get the kill and then just rotate bottom and not fall victim to this gank here. Even though they just killed the Spectre, 2 of their key ultimates are on cooldown, so it's not the worst time for Sig.Trust to fish around for a fight and maybe try to find a pick off of their own. But Fnatic will feel the benefits there. Level 3 Necro Book up on net. He's got the Ogre Club. I think almost assuredly the BKB for him, so not too far off. Roche number 2 respawned. He'll pop the Necro Book, and they go right into the pit.
Very quickly. This is going to fall so fast that even if they wanted to...
But remember, buyback Haunt could be a reality here if they get the vision, but I think they're going to be too slow, Mont.
This is what I was talking. You have a Necro 3 with Wave of Terror. There's no way. Now they're going to turn and look for a fight. They're going to find the Yules on Boombell. They miss actually on that boulder smash. They just destroy him with the Dagon. The Spectre's up, but I don't think you haunted on this. And the Jabs, he tried a rolling boulder TP away, but he ran right into net. That was a great positioning play from him. They get a double kill for DJ, who only gets more farm. TPing out is going to be Axe. Abba was getting chased down by Ohio. He'll luckily make it away, but suddenly Fnatic are turning on the Jets, and what was once a pretty big advantage, or well, maybe not that big of an advantage, but an okay advantage for Sig.Trust, is now 4,000 net worth lead for Fnatic and probably falling as well.
Yeah, now with the Aegis in tow, they can get really aggressive here. No buybacks available on the 2 heroes in the grave, and they've got a pretty good window. There's a glyph that'll buy them a little bit of time. The ult from Quap does help clear out the creep wave here, and damn effective at that, but now she gets put in the Yules right into the silence. It's going to be a kill on my pro as Ohio comes in with the lasso. Now the Haunt from Spectre. Puck getting low, but Net staying in, trying to finish off Abba before he dies, and they do get the kill. It's the Enchantress in the back line just doing so much damage. Swap onto Lakel's, but he stays alive. The ult from Boombell does buy him a little bit of time. He needs to get back to the well, though. He could still pop.
He's gonna.
He dies.
Oh, I can't believe he died. I thought he was gonna live for sure.
Yeah, it seemed like it.
Do some serious damage.
Dude, right now I feel like DJ is the one making these team fights happen. It's just ridiculous how much damage he's doing.
How does he get Enchantress every game? How do you not just ban that hero? I don't understand. Whatever.
A good question. I don't have a good answer for that one. And now they're going to lay a lot of damage into this tower. Glyph is still standing. Spectre has a buyback, but no ultimate. You just let the barracks fall here? I mean, look at the impetus.
No.
He nearly 3-shots Boom Bell. That's 2 impetus. He's down to 100 health.
They might get melee racks out of this, but I think that's all they get now.
They already forced a buyback from Lakells. Yeah. They're out of here. They got one of 2 objectives they came for. Either a buyback on the Spectre with no follow-up kills or barracks, and I think they'll settle for the former.
Yeah, this is fine for Fnatic. And that was looking like a good fight for Sig.Trust. I mean, they had a great call. They had some good damage coming out, I think, from jabs. But it's just, with MyPro dying yet again, he mismanaged. He did not need to use his Yule Scepter there. He should have waited until the Ensnare was gone. He should have seen that the silence was maybe coming. Either way, he might die again as Ohio's trying to find him bottom. There's a lot of fears coming in. There's a force back, and
poor baby.
There's going to be a silence here momentarily. The silence goes out, but he this time uses his Yules in the right order. And the right silence on the mid one, he gets blown up. Now Ohio might be the next one to fall.
Wow. It's incredible back-to-back. It's like watching a completely different story unfold with the exact same kit. The Batrider will TP out, but this time MyPro survives. They turn it around. Like you said, great use of the Yule Scepter to actually live. But look at this Shadow Blade on Ohio. Not an item you see on Batrider too often. An interesting pickup.
This works. There's not much real vision or detection coming out from Sig.Trust. They're clearly not invested in vision at this point in time.
Yeah.
And he knows this, and he's also able to set up. Fnatic have pretty good, not necessarily great global presence, but they can get to places very quickly. So you lasso force staff back towards your heroes, and then you're in a good spot. Like Hells is gonna take like 3 hits and almost die from it.
That is insane.
That's nuts.
That's the most farmed hero in the game right there versus the Enchantress, who is pretty comparably farmed, but it's just insane how much damage DJ does right now. He's level 16 and has a Hyperstone. He's at like the top of his power curve right now.
He's not ever in range of Radiance. There's the lasso again into MyPro. Great false promise for the first time of the game.
There we
now
go.
With lasso down, I think if you're Sig.Trust, you might think about going. And on the other side, there's going to be the Hawk coming through. They get a great call off onto 2, and DJ and 343 are going to get blown up by a Sonic Wave coming out with a call from Abba, setting it all up again.
But up top, it's Net. He's up to some Rat Dota again. Lakells and Jabs on their way in. He gets the tower down low. He's got some creeps, but he'll just pop the ult and run away. So they do get 2 pickoffs, but that's almost in exchange for a tier 3 tower. Still better for Sig.Trust, of course, but I like what the Lycan's doing here and making Sig.Trust think twice about committing outside of their base. It completely stalls the push. It actually keeps that tier 1 tower standing down in the bottom lane.
Lakells pretty much needs an Abyssal Blade now that the Lycan has a BKB, and I think MyPro at some point in time is going to have to go for a Hex, but that's a long ways away. First of all, Lakells just picked up his Manta style, and secondly, there's not much farm for MyPro to begin with. He does have 1800 actually. The call is obviously very good because it does go through BKB. At least I think it still does. They might have changed that, honestly. Who knows with Axe, but
no, call, I'm pretty sure. Let's take a look here. Yep, goes through Magic Immunity.
So, I mean, at this point, they do have that going for them, and these have been some good combos and some good fights coming out from Sig.Trust, but they're a couple, they're a little bit away from...
Mud! Look at the Vengeful Spirit! He's got a bloody pipe!
Yeah, they picked it up. I noticed they had the aura, and I thought it was on the Enchantress, but it's on the
I love it. Not the best pipe game compared to like the Zeus match we saw just earlier, but I think still very warranted here.
It's strange, yeah, it's definitely strange that out of the 3 games we've seen so far today, this is the game they get a pipe.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm not going to complain about it.
But Veil, Magnetize, the damage from the Quap, it definitely will make a difference. And don't forget, Spectre's Dispersion will return some magic damage. It's based on what damage type she's taking, so some of that is magical, and the pipe will help mitigate that. It's
Radiance Burn. I mean, yeah.
Radiance Burn as well. I really like it.
This pipe is going to do a lot more than I think people think for Fnatic, and it's just nice to have. You get the plus 30% spell resistance on top of the active, which is really nice.
You know, I wonder if Ohio is thinking about transitioning this Shadow Blade into the Silver Edge. Just having that debuff against the Spectre is really good. Mitigate the damage output from all of the things we just listed off. The Radiance, the Dispersion, the right clicks. Like, it's not just auto attacks. It's everything for that debuff duration.
I would say it's not a bad choice if it wasn't built so infrequently. 343 is going to find himself in some trouble here. He's going to pop the pipe, and he actually does take a beating, but
he does what he can. That is in exchange for a haunt, though. So a support for the Spectre ult on cooldown, not the worst thing in the world for Fnatic.
They can't hit this tower. There's no creep wave, sadly, and bottom's pushing in, and they're going to send a Dark Troll Summoner there to help out as well.
Yeah, so it's not too bad. They'll force a TP back on the Spectre, and all things considered, I think they can deal with a dead Venge while Net continues to farm. He still has that 10-second BKB and another 1,400 gold, so probably just Assault Kuros coming out next for him. Synergize with the push, all that stuff. No big surprise there.
We saw the Moonshard from DJ last game, or the Enchantress, and I wonder if he's going to go for it this time.
I bet, yeah. Probably Moonshard on him, then AC on the Lycan makes more sense.
Yeah. I mean, that's just standard. Lycan could also go for a Basher. I wouldn't be surprised to see that.
Yeah.
What else could he get? I'm trying to think. Like, what's... Not going to see Heart. All right, it's too late for Armlet. SMY is too late for that, and you don't really go for that item to begin with on Lycan. So, yeah, I think AC is probably your best bet.
AC Abyssal? I think that's a pretty good build.
That sounds about right. I don't see what else you pick up, honestly. There's not much that comes to mind. Maybe you get a Heart later on.
Yeah, I think at that point, it really depends on how this game unfolds and how they see themselves winning it. If they're really pressured and it's like, Net, you need to rat Dota us for the win, then hell, maybe he goes AC Desolator just so he can shoot through buildings faster. But if he wants to fight or can participate in the team fights, I think like that Abyssal style build is just way better. It's so much more utility. And so whoever you drop that hammer on is basically dead. They've got plenty of follow-up damage with a Dagon, with the Impetus. It's huge lockdown.
Fnatic are taking their map control back as they picked up a gem, and it's at the perfect time. There's no vision on the map for Sig.Trust, so they have to be very careful with how they approach these next couple of moments. Roche timer, we're going to see if it's going to be that 8-minute Roche time or if it's going to be that full max duration. It is a almost full max duration Roche, I believe. 2 minutes and 10 seconds. It's a minute less than full max duration. So
yeah,
it's a little bit of time, but it's still pretty good, especially for Fnatic. They can move around the map. They can farm. They can keep the waves pushed out. Sig.Trust don't have that luxury of vision, so it's going to be tough. They did pick up a gem for the Axe.
Both teams have gems right now, actually. So it's
they're afraid to go out of their base at this point. I don't blame them. One bad initiation, and this game could get out of hand quickly because they have no outer towers, really.
Yeah.
They could lose racks quickly.
Yeah, absolutely. For Sig.Trust, this is a little bit scary. Lycan could also look at BOTs pretty soon here, though. We'll hold that thought. Ohio on his way over. Shadowblade on, thinking about an initiation, but realizes the entire team is there and will just back up. But yeah, I think BOTs, though, definitely something Lycan should consider.
Yeah, he'll get that at some point. I'm still wondering. I imagine it is going to be the AC first, but he hasn't picked up any components, and I think a lot of that has to do with wanting buyback as well. But for them, it's not as bad because they still have a lot of tier 2s, all of their tier 2s. By the way, they were waiting for buyback, I think, for Spectre before they went outside the base. She has it now. It was on cooldown for a little while. It's up and ready to go. And on top of that, 3.5k. This probably is Abyssal, or at least a Basher, but I don't know. Maybe it's a Butterfly instead. There's options for him. Could go Heart too, I suppose.
Yeah. Smoke now from Fnatic. All 5 move across the mid. Pardon me, 4 move across the mid lane here. Lycan, the only one who hasn't joined the party yet. Looks like they'll rendezvous in the top lane, but Sig.Trust will be nowhere to be found. They're all clumped up around the bottom, just pushing the lanes out. This could be an interesting angle to initiate if they can catch somebody in the mid. For Fnatic, if they can just take a decent fight, maybe go 2 for 2, and then have the Lycan split push, that may be their golden ticket that they're hoping for. But Roche getting pinged out by both teams. They know it's going to be up soon. Still about 20 seconds till the big guy comes back.
If Sig.Trust go for Roche, they lose Rax top probably. So they can't. They have to keep top pushed out first and foremost. It depends on what the Lycan does here, and he'll probably continue the push. I think if you're Sig, you just get that tier 1 bottom. How low is it? It's actually like
in deny range.
Yeah, you're gonna probably glyph it here to waste time, but they're gonna get this, I think. If TPing to the tier 2 tower,
they don't even
glyph it, by the way.
They didn't even glyph it, and he TPs in. Why?
Well, they're setting it for Roche now, I think.
Yeah.
But the Lycan needs to stay top, and this is gonna be a tier 3 tower, by the way, because the Necro Warrior. I don't think you glyph this.
Go Archer, go! Very nice for Net. Man, Necro units. I always forget how much damage those things do. And a lot of it's in the attack speed. The DPS is ridiculous. 0.72 on the Archer.
The mana burn is even more disgusting. Like the mana burn from the Necro Archer kind of makes things a little bit ridiculous.
There's something oddly satisfying about playing a pub as a Beastmaster and just getting that Necro Book on somebody. Oh, jabs. He goes right into Ohio. They see him. They'll use the Haunt, and they catch the Bat Rider. The Yules comes out to buy him a little bit of time, but that's a gem down on the side of Fnatic. Now MyPro jumps in, drops the ult on 3. Pipe from 343 actually helps keep him alive, and it will just be a kill on the Bat Rider. But what a great pick from Sig.Trust. Small stroke of luck there. I mean, jabs, maybe assuming that he could be looking to initiate. A good read, we'll call it, rather than luck. And it should net a pretty easy Roche for Sig unless the Bat Rider buys back here.
Oh, MyPro was TPing and he actually just got hit up. I'm not sure if that was...
Oh,
that's not great. They're going to have to... They wanted, I think, to keep Lakel's and have him Roche and have MyPro clear out the creep wave. Instead, Lakel's is going to have to be the one that heads top.
Well, Fnatic will stall out Roche. That's good for them. This Lycan's creating a lot of space.
I mean, it's really... Unless they can get a Rax top, unless Sig can somehow get a Rax top, I don't... Like, he's going to make his home on this top lane, with the exception of when they're roaching or whatever. Which they are now.
Oh, down bottom. DJ caught by the Berserker's call, but they actually have the damage to
They
follow
really
up.
need this
The
kill.
swap from 343 keeps him alive. Now Jabs takes the Dagon, and he's going to be in a lot of trouble. Boom Bell falls. And Jabs, even though he has the ultimate on, he should pop when he gets back to the well. And he most definitely will. Buyback from him. Lakel's picks up a double damage rune, but still has the Haunt on cooldown for about 40 seconds.
They don't see him. There's the lasso. They're going to bring him back to the rest of this squad. Good hex up, but Lakel should probably die here. I don't think he can 1v5 this squad. In fact, he's taking too much damage at this point.
Yeah. Has the
It's
right
all
call,
unraveling,
though.
by the way. That he is dead for 90 seconds. He just bought that heart, so it's all unraveling now for Sig.Trust. Not only can Fnatic get Roche here, get the Aegis, they can also, and it's cheese, by the way, they can move forward, and with the wave pushed out bottom, with the wave pushed out top, they can probably get a set of racks here, I would imagine.
That's so brutal for the Spectre, man. And he was even pooling for buyback. He's really close. He's got 1,200 gold. Of course, he went all in on the heart, but he's only about 130 gold short from buyback. He does have Haunt up now, so potential for a buyback Haunt play there. Aegis and Cheese, like you mentioned, will go to the Dire side. 3k gold up on DJ. Yeah, this is starting to look scary. The gold graph is still manageable, only about 10k net worth in favor of Fnatic, but it feels like they just have so much more control in these engagements now.
It's just DJ is doing so much. DJ is actually pumping out an insane amount of damage, and they try to kill him every time. And you saw that swap back, and I thought, where's the Haunt? I thought if they haunted in, maybe they could have gotten that kill, but it probably would have ended up with Lakel's dying anyways.
I don't know. It might have been enough for the kill, but it was just on cooldown. It was unfortunate timing. Yeah.
Wow, that's...
I think so.
Really surprising. I thought it was up for sure.
Or no, maybe... now I forget. I say that, but that was a really... I was thinking at the end, when Spectre died, it was on cooldown for about 40 seconds. But that was a pretty long, drawn-out fight, so maybe it was up.
I don't know. It was close either way. If she didn't have it, then it's a bad time to initiate, but DJ was out in front.
It was a really good swap, though. This Venge has really been working out well.
Yeah, this 3-4-3 is, I mean, and especially the choice to go for a pipe was the right decision, because some of these fights have been survived barely on this type of insight.
Yeah,
because
and glancing at Twitch chat, I think they misunderstood what we were saying. We really like Pipe. I think Pipe is a great pickup here. We were commenting on that. It's just strange that this is the first game of the series where Pipe is picked up, given how much magic damage was in Game 2 especially, and also in Game 1. All of the games, I think, in this series
Pipe
so
could have been picked up in any game.
Yeah, Pipe could have been picked up.
And we had discussed that in Game 1 and 2 because of the amount of magical damage that was coming out from really both teams. And it's strange because there's no Zeus in this game. And yes, there's a lot of magical damage, obviously.
It's a sick item, dude. There's no doubt about it. But this game, there is no mech. No mech on either side. Again, it just strikes me as odd at how often these teams fight that mech is not a higher priority.
It just comes down to, again, heroes and what these heroes prioritize and itemization.
Yeah, like who's going to pick it up? Like
no
DJ,
really
why would he sacrifice damage for a mech?
Yeah. You could argue that the Oracle would like to get mech, but he's like, I'm so goddamn poor that's never happening. Maybe the Earth Spirit, but he's definitely prioritizing his Veil over anything else. And not to mention, he's also got a Force Staff. And even when you get to the late game, mech's not really amazing. Guardian Greaves is a bit better. But even at 40 minutes into the game, you know, it's kind of
Well, one of the
It could be
biggest
better.
issues with mech is mana. It's really mana intensive now. When you look at both teams, there is not a single pair of arcane boots on the field right now. Oracle did have them. He went the Aether Lens, but still, there's not a lot of mana regen. It's like you could say, okay, Puck could carry mech. It's a little bit weird, but possible. But if you go Blink mech, you just don't have the mana pool to sustain the heal and all of the spells that you need to cast to do damage to get kills. So
I mean, and again, it's just
it does
not
make
that.
sense.
It's not an item that Puck wants to pick up, really.
Yeah.
He'd prefer damage. He'd prefer control, which he's got a little
Yeah.
bit of both. I mean, I'm surprised he hasn't gone for a Hex, but he does have a Dagon 5, so now it will begin for him to try to get that next item, and I think it will be a Hex.
One big difference we've seen this series that I've observed from like the previous best of threes, or like still deep in the bracket of this tournament, teams really prioritize drum. I've seen a lot of games where it's like 4 drums on one team, and those are the ones where I think, you know, if one of those drums was a mech, I'm just saying, I think that might be slightly better value. Like, drums sort of have diminishing returns after 2 or 3. 4 just seems like madness to me.
I don't know, man. Having the ability to have so many charges is always amazing. And
That's true.
When you're pushing, when you're team fighting, that charge will make the difference in a lot of those instances. And it's that's the meta now. Every team I've seen has picked up at least 2 sets of drums on a couple of heroes.
This game where there's only 1 drum on each side. This has been a pretty light drum game, but relatively speaking, it's one of the more popular items right now for sure.
Yeah, the Spectre has one, and on the other side is the Enchantress. Again, it's an itemization. You don't see drums on Liking because why do you need it?
Yeah.
You know, you don't see drum on Ohio because there are other items for that rider to pick up.
DJ really seems to like it. He gets it every game on Enchantress, and you don't
it's pretty
always
common
see
for
that.
Enchantresses as well. I mean, sometimes you'll go phase straight into an Ogre or a Dragonlance, but I think I think drum is the build. But he is at the very least it's on the curve. You might very well sell it now that he's a cheese and a Moonshard and a BKB.
Yeah, fresh
BKB is also pretty game changing too for him. But the call is gonna come down to the call. It's gonna come down to the Sonic Wave, and it's gonna come down to the Ken Lakel's pump out the damage. They also have that Hex. They're waiting for this push. They know something's happening. They know that there's a smoke coming out from Fnatic. They've even drawn the line. Gonna find the lasso on the jabs. They get the false promise though, and that's a bit aggressive. DJ's gonna get hexed up, but there's no real counter initiation. Good Sonic Wave, and now Net's gonna go to work with his BKB. He's got the shapeshift, and now this will push them back. Blink in. They get DJ with the call, but he's going to get Yules in the end. And now this is still a fight going in. The Dagon comes through. They're looking for jabs. Right now, Fnatic are pushing them all back. The shapeshift about to go down. They might actually get this melee racks, but they might need to think about leaving here.
Yeah, they get the racks. Wow, Abba's definitely going down. The damage from GJ is just too much. The Spectre lives, but gets completely repelled to the well, literally just because of the Enchantress. And once you start to go defensive and run away, the damage that the Impetus does is insane. But here we go. There's a buyback from the Axe, and Lakel's drops the Haunt. Fnatic running low on resources, but they still manage to kill the Queen of Pain. Now DJ uses that Aghanim Scepter. 10 seconds of magic immunity, and you see the damage coming out. He destroys the Oracle. Should be able to get the Axe. It's a dieback on him. And now Lakel's and Jabs are the lone survivors. They need to clean this up, but can they do it? Aegis of the Immortal will be utilized. Lycan coming back to life in a few seconds. They'll lose the Earth Spirit. Spectre gets the kill on the Bat Rider with the dispersion, but he doesn't have the resources. It's a dead spec. Buyback right away. Can Lakel's hold on here, or will they lose another lane of barracks?
I think this is going to be at least 1 set of racks. There's no other buybacks. Lakel's can't do it all on his own, especially with these 3 heroes up. They have plenty of damage. DJ is luckily out of mana, and Lakel's is going to look for him instead. He's just going to run in. Maybe he can get this done. Mid one's going to have to get out. Lakel's and Net going toe-to-toe. DJ's about to fall. Maybe he can get this. Dream Coil is just off cooldown. Mid one's going to have to phase shift, but here we go. Net versus Lakel's. The heart regen's not really pumping up yet, and he's actually going to fall. It looks like it's going to be a dieback as Net will finally provide himself a kill. And it just comes down to the cheese of the Aegis, man. That was a good fight. It was a good hold for Sig.Trust, but they can't chew through everything. They can't deal with all of this regen, all of these, abilities to get back up and alive. The Aegis of Immortality, obviously, and the cheese. And now Boomdoll's trying to go toe-to-toe with Net. Instead, he's going to die to the Necro units. He actually has to use the false promise on himself. I'm sure he's dead. The Dagon came out. He's almost certainly going to die.
Yeah, good night, sweet Boombell. It was a noble effort. My pro getting repelled by Impetus strikes, and at this point, Mod, I think this game is pretty much over. DJ is just unstoppable. He's bought back to get back into the fray. He's got a 9-second BKB ready to go, and there's just 1 lane of barracks standing. This is the final hold. Lasso from Ohio. Net getting low, but he misses the dunk, and Net survives the pipe, keeping him alive a bit longer than planned. He'll end up falling, buys back, and meanwhile, the rest of Sig.Trust get completely destroyed, 38-40. It is Fnatic that take game number 2 in this best of 5.
So, all right.
Game 3, rather.
Fnatic need to ban Earth Spirit. Sig.Trust need to ban Enchantress. There's no real other way to look at it. Sure, you might give away an Invoker or a Lone Druid or whatever, but come on now. Like, these two heroes have been dominating the series. The reason why Sig.Trust is in this series usually is because of jabs in the Earth Spirit in the last game and almost in this game. And the reason why Fnatic is doing so well is DJ's Enchantress. Look at his kill involvement. He's the only one with double-digit kills, and by double-digit, it's 17, 7, and 14. His GPM is 512. Again, he was one of the top. He was one of the top, and maybe even in the top of net worth for Fnatic. So it's just, you have to wonder, do we really want to give away the Enchantress again? I mean, you look at the alternatives and you think, okay, sure, it's an Invoker, but like...
Yeah, I mean, at least in Game 2, they had the Zeus to deal with the Enchantress in the sense that they had massive magic damage. In this game, it was, hey, all right, Quap, you can handle the Enchantress, right? Good. Okay, cool. And outside of that, it was basically just magnetized. Then once the BKB comes out, they just had no damage to finish off that hero. Super impressive. And moving into game number 4 here, Maud, we'll see. Can Fnatic take this one 3-1, or will Sig.Trust bring it back for an ace match? Only time will tell. Thank you so much for joining us, folks. The biggest numbers we've seen so far in this tournament here for the grand finals. This is season 1 of 4, so still much more Kappa enjoyment to come along. I'm Zyori. He's Maud from moonducktv. We'll be back after this short break.